see, that's a theory of nature as a drama. It's a play.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Spiritual Saturday with Angela and me, Vanessa. You will hear some background noise. I didn't put the washing machine on. I was a good girl. Sorted a bit more out with the lighting, so don't judge. And we've just had an issue with the headphones. We always start off these podcasts and videos to enlighten, well, really, the ultimate goal is to enlighten you all on the journey we've been on, and we're sharing our experiences because that's what we've been called to do. And yes, we are women. I have found that there's not a lot of us women, unless we're a little bit out there with daisy chains around our heads and taking Instagram pictures of ourselves sitting in the middle of New York City. That is not us. Angela is stuck in her artistic realm in Austria, and I am in a 3-bedroom terraced house with the keys in the door so the ex doesn't constantly come in and take over it. So our lives are going really, really well right now. First of all, highlight for me, I'm going to be a little bit egotistic here. It's all about me. I didn't win the lottery yesterday.
Oh.
However, I didn't do a ticket.
Oh,
what
okay.
do you expect?
Yeah.
Why do we get ourselves in these states? I don't know. That's my highlight of the week. Angela, what's your highlight of the week before we continue on this journey of our Spiritual Saturday vlogs?
Oh, I've just had a lot of pain due to to menstruation stuff. So yeah, I was just sitting in my pain, very conscious, very aware, very, what do they say, demure.
We're trying.
Very peaceful. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm trying to stay conscious in my pain. It's all part of my pain experiment. When you're dealing with so much pain, just try to lie there and not complain. No resistance.
Don't you dare.
Yeah. So that's been a challenge for me this week. But it's okay. It's getting better. It's getting better.
Well, I'm pleased to hear that. Whilst I'm sitting here, I've taken a picture, everyone, of my Frenchie, who doesn't stop wanting attention. So he's going to be in and out of the situation. I think we should start introducing the cats and the dogs because they are such attention seekers. He's now in his brother's bed trying to get his bone. He hides his bones and everything so nobody can have nothing. He's so selfish. All right, then. Well, Angela and I have got some courses we're putting together to share with you. Angela is working on a course called The Pathless Path. And what we've done over the years and all our teachings and everything that we've sort of amalgamated and got together, all this work has been going on in the background for years. And if you watch our previous videos, we speak about our background all the time, so it helps you all. And we're blending that in with the individual courses that we've got with each other. The Pathless Path from Angela goes into the Inner Guru from my end. And we found that these courses are a great way to get started because at the moment, unfortunately, the world is a very fragile place. And I understand yesterday, not that we talk about the media on this platform, but because we don't conform to reality, I was told that we've pissed Putin off a little bit as a country because we're helping Ukraine. So in regards to the media and the 3-dimensional lies that are going on, there's a bit of dodginess going on out there. I think it's safe to say, isn't it, Angela? You're in Austria, Europe, full stop. Even people on TikTok from New Zealand are feeling this pressure of constantly having to pay for stuff. Some TikTokers I've watched that I love in New Zealand are mums, and they're talking about even over there how expensive food is and everything else. So I think we're all feeling it. So when you've got this 3-dimensional life, that's where the internet is a great thing, because when you're feeling so isolated and so lonely, you can sort of tap into what other people are doing and seeing and understanding it isn't just you, because that's what the ego does. It pulls you in and it makes out that it's just happening to you. It's all me, you know, woe is me, I'm the victim. And then, of course, we get different levels of that. So when you're trying to find peace and you've read The Secret and you're looking at manifesting, which I think we should do a course on, period, because that's another subject in what's happening online as well, which I think we should bring to the table, Angela. I said in a previous episode, it seems to be incredibly toxic. And what I have found over the years is that we are forgetting that we are three-dimensional beings. We are having this beautiful experience as humans. We're able to touch, see, feel, communicate. God is able to express himself through us on this physical plane. Presently, and I've been watching me Vikings again, presently it seems to be that we want to try and ignore that. We want to, because it's for free, nobody can charge us for love. We can't buy fear. We can't buy excitement. I suppose in some way you can, but it doesn't last that long. And so this is where the spiritual journey comes into it. And so Angela and I have put these courses together and blended them together, because this is what we're going to talk about today. And I think we should keep on that path, Angela, of sharing these experiences in what we have to offer as we start the launch, to help other people understand that, yes, life is not easy. Whether you volunteered to come down here as a human being, whether you was picked or chose to be a saint, or whatever you chose to do, whatever you believe, this is something else we talk about, to get your head round, like, why am I here? When things are hard, this is what we talk about. This is one of our biggest things, quite frankly. I am going to say, Angela, we're experts on, because we've been to the bottom of it, we've been to the top of it, and we've been to the bottom of it. So this is where this conversation, I feel, should go today. That's what I'm getting pulled to. I did get messages to share today about love and about grace, because again, it's easy to talk about it, but to understand it is a completely different concept. So that's the road I want to go down today. What do you want to share, Angela?
Oh, I'll just go with you. I think the love topic, yeah, is something I'd like to touch base on too. And what you said about the courses, yeah, beautifully said. I do believe that it is important for people to find someone that they trust, and where they know, okay, look, this person has been through all the things that I'm going through currently and have worked themselves through it, or are still working through different types of issues. I've always found it important to reach out to people that have similar stories. And as we said before, I mean, there's like 8 billion people on the planet. It's mathematically impossible that someone is going through exactly the same thing as we are. But we do have similar stories, and we can help each other embrace the change, get through these things. And our courses, I think they're a wonderful tool, although it's not even teaching tools, but it is in some way. It's a great opportunity for people to really overcome difficult situations, and we can show them how we've overcome them ourselves. So, yeah.
I'm very sorry, everybody. I was listening, Angela. My dogs are starting. That's the least that we want. So just bear with me a moment. Absolutely ridiculous. I apologise. This is the thing, isn't it? It's a case that it is a case that when you say we're not all going through the same thing, no, we're not. We go through it. What I found, let me just tell him the dog's gone upstairs. What I found is, done, thank you. What I found is again, another epiphany yesterday. There's a lot going on in my head and my realm at the moment. It is a case that we do go through the same story. And I believe that when you're in that frequency of going through that channel of whether it's grief, happiness, excitement, trauma, whatever that might be, it's a case that people have similar stories. People have different understandings and different levels of that grief. Do you know what I mean? So you're going to have situations where you're talking to a woman that's gone through a divorce and they're fighting over, over £1 million house. She's looking at getting a massive payout. She's got 5 kids to feed. She's never had to work, but me and her, completely different stories, are feeling the same grief. We're in the same trauma. But for me, I'm like, well, she's all right. She's going to get a massive payout. She can feed her kids. Do you know what I mean? But it's still the same. Now, this is a lesson I learned where you can't be the victim. You can't sit there and say, oh, well, it's all right for her, or, oh, well, that's all right, isn't it? Because they've got more money than me, or blah, and that judgment. We can't, under any circumstances, go through that. And this is something that we teach, that people need to understand. And a part may be in what they're missing, that you cannot, under any circumstances, keep judging that person. You have to stand back and be able to be at peace with yourself and understand that that's her story. Do you know what I mean? That's her pain. Even conversations you and I have had, Angela, where we've become, like I said in previous episodes, very egotistic, sort of turning against each other, the bitchiness, the arguing, being in that ego sort of devil-like energy where you want to pull somebody apart. It's this point in the human race is what it's like this tweak in our brains. This is what makes us attack each other. This is what makes us commit those awful crimes towards each other, because you just can't make peace with yourself. And if you make peace with yourself, regardless of what is going on, then you will change. The frequency might not change because that's something else to understand. But being at peace with yourself is going to be so much easier for you to just let people talk. Do you know what I mean? I mean, remember how I used to be years ago? You know what I mean? Yeah, I want to do this and I want to do that. And yeah. And then slowly as the years have gone on and you've stepped away from that, because I want to talk about as well in this process when the shit hits the fan. You know what I mean? When we're pushed into making things happen, we have to. In the car, I was speaking to Spirit yesterday, and this is where we get this, oh my God. It's years later after the grief and everything has passed and you've learned another lesson. But you're like, oh my God, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have left. If that didn't happen, I wouldn't have made that purchase. If that were, do you know what I mean? It's that constant understanding, you know. Now, last week I mentioned about the Buddha and the Buddha speaking to another fellow follower, and his son had died. And it was playing on my mind all week because we've all lost somebody. And I was like, well, obviously Spirit want me to learn something about that. And I can only speak from my experiences. And I remember when I got the call to say that my father had died, and even though the story was so sad, what made me so angry is I was shocked. I was, even though in my prophecy, I predicted the exact age he was going to die. I had to go back and get one of my notebooks and check it. And I was like, oh my God, I was right. I knew how he was going to die. I mean, you didn't need to be a psychic to see that, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh my God. And even though I knew it was going to happen, I knew, because the family was so estranged, I was going to get that phone call at some point. And then it was going to be gun fodder for the, you know what our families are. Well, everybody's family again, that everybody's got a nutty family. We all try and avoid them like the plague. And I was still shocked. And then I still went into grief. I don't do funerals, as you well know. I can't stand them. I can't stand weddings. But it is a process, you know, they're for us. They're for the living. That's my personal belief. But and cost a fortune. And I was like, I was angry as a young child. The inner child was angry and sad. But as an adult, you missed certain times of him being around, but you hadn't spoke to him for 13 years. Do you know what I mean? You had no contact with each other at all, apart from really rare family events, i.e. funerals or baptisms. And I was like, why am I feeling like this? And all the songs kept coming up on my Spotify mix that I hadn't heard for years, which is music he'd have on and stuff. And this grief, sometimes I believe is this, thank you, is this power and this pain, unfortunately, is recognizing you for what you didn't deal with in the first place. And so the grief is coming up for them to say, well, now he's gone, you're able to make peace in the process of you don't have that threat, you know, of thinking, oh, I know, I'll give him a call. Oh, I know, I'll do. Do you know what I mean? It's the process of sitting with it. There's nothing you can do. You're not going to bring him back alive. If you did, you'd be a multimillionaire. You know, you're not going to be able to fix the past. You have got to sit in that grief. You have got to be able to say, it's happened. Why am I in so much pain? Why am I feeling like this silly little girl that's just lost her dad? You know, what is that? When we're able to sit in that pain, everything changes. And I believe when it comes to science, in the Inner Guru, I speak about the spiritual and physical side of how the body can adapt to these changes and how you as a human being can amend and adapt. When we talk about neuro pathways, the scar tissue is there. It's happened. The scar tissue's in your heart. It's in your body. Oh my God, I can't believe this. This is awful. But am I going to let it become a habit? Am I on the 27th of March, whatever date it was, going to celebrate his death of his anniversary? I mean, why do people do that? I don't know. You know, why am I going to celebrate his birthday? I didn't speak to him for 13 years, but now he's dead. I'm going to make it a thing. And I'm going to walk around on that day with my head between my shoulders. And I'm going to be like, oh, well, this is the day my father would have been turning 69. You're building up a habit in your brain, in your body that doesn't need to be there. And then when we talk about frequency, you're pulling all that grief, all that shit that you don't want back into your life. As spiritualists and mediums, we talk about lighting a candle. We talk about sitting in the grief. We talk about nobody dies. We're going round and round and round forever. You know, RamDass. We have to learn to sit in the grief, and like the pain and struggling you're physically feeling at the moment, Angela, might well be something to that, you know? What do you want to talk? What do you want to reply to that one?
No words needed. Well, I've experienced the difference between fear and pain. When you're in fear, it's like you can't think one thought. It's just what I've come up with. And when you're in pain, your thoughts are racing. They are racing. They are literally making you crazy. And I haven't found the connection there yet, but it's just the emotions that overwhelm us at moments. I think when people need adrenaline, they go on the highest mountain, or they go bungee jumping, or they drive their car really, really fast. And it's those moments where people actually, on an unconscious level, want to feel alive. And that is when the thoughts set out, you're not thinking anything at that moment because you have to focus. You feel like every thought is too loud and is going to distract you. That's what fear does. And as we talk about death as something negative or sad, fear is also something that people seek. It's like totally, it's like the opposite. I think the emotions, it's the meaning we give to them, just like death. For me, I've been confronted with death many years, and death doesn't scare me. That's why if I go to a funeral, we've talked about this before, like Alan Watts, the demon of impermanence. People and situations have to go at some point, or you would never really cherish them. You would never really find value in these people or in pets. Or I mean, it's awful. It's sad, but at the same time, you have to value these as long as they're here. And then we come to time again, like the Buddha says, you think you have time. It's a whole nother topic.
It is, because then we're talking about time. Absolutely. And I think the hardest thing for us to understand is when, sorry for any triggers here, when a child is lost. Mm-hmm. And the same for all of us. I'm a doggy person. When your dogs die, or they die too young, when you lose your parents, but you're in the situation where you've nursed them to your death, you can't help but feel that. Time is a completely different topic. I mean, let's be honest, Angela, we could do a whole bloody book on time and the concept of it, because it doesn't exist. Here's an example for you to understand, for not so much for Angela, but for everybody trying to get their head around it. I am going to refer to social media again, and this is just because it gives a lot of listeners a sort of real life example. Do you know what I mean? When we talk about making a list, and this is what I want, and this is what I want to happen then, you can test the time of the universe and your power of frequency of manifestation very, very quickly. And here's how. Down to your beliefs and down to your understanding in what you think you are and who you think you are as a three-dimensional human being, estimates what timing you're able to predict, to receive, to give. So, for example, if I want to win the lottery, it will help me out. Everybody does. Everybody talks about, if I just buy this ticket, if I just do this, and when we're so desperate, that pain of desperation, give me something, what we're doing is we're missing the truth. Oh, well, actually, you don't need to win the lottery, because if you just give it 10 minutes, you might get something else come through. Okay, let's sit in silence. As quick as that answer will come in. No doubt about it. I strongly believe and trust that. But it might take a while, maybe because of your belief system, maybe because you've gone off the subject for a little bit. You don't even believe that you're worthy. Now, when it comes to something like, I need a pair of headphones, or I need a new phone, because you use that stuff all the time, and because you know it's there, it turns up just like that. Just like that. Example, my phone smashed. I believed that my IVA, which is in an involuntary, sort of as close to bankruptcy. I'd worked really hard this year because that was one of my goals, to get it paid off and done. It was me, as painful as it is, that was pulling it back. Oh, well, if I just pay another month. Oh, if I just put that money away another time. Oh, if I just do this, if I just do, oh my God, God help me, God help me. I just want it gone. I just want it gone. When I decided what was going to work for me in order to get it out of my head and to get it done, the IVA clears up, then my phone smashes, I need a new phone. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to get a new phone. I won't get any credit. Let it go, sit still, calm down. I ended up getting 2 phones. No problem. When I need something in the house and you've got no money in your bank account, guess what? Turns up. Look what I said to you out in the other weekend. Oh my God, Angela, I've got no money. I need to go and get some food. Literally, it wasn't how you expected it. The money turns up. That is because of that time element of what you believe. This is the same as grief. I'm just going to bring it all round and wrap it in. This is the same as grief. If you are going to celebrate that anniversary every year, if you're going, and don't get me wrong, it takes some people, it takes a long time until you understand this concept. It honestly does. You know, I know. And it's painful. Are you going to believe that, sorry for any triggers, again, another trigger warning. When I lost that baby, that's the be all or end all. When we look at any woman I have healed over the years that's come to me with a stillbirth or had to have an abortion or whatever, that child has reincarnated and come back. When I explain to them, maybe, did you force it? You know, what happened when you were conceiving? What was happening in around that time? I guarantee that baby will come back. This is where we say God is the judge. You know, God, the universe. We can't control time because it doesn't exist. But if you believe in something so badly, you see it in your vision, it's for you, not making it up, not forcing it, which is something else I could go on about because I've got a lot of experience in that. Not forcing it, not forcing those visions. You know what I mean, don't you? When you're forcing something to happen, letting it go, which comes from peace, grace, stillness, getting over the grief, feeling the pain, being remorseful. When all of those things start to come into play and your belief starts to twitch, now you're on that path of, this is right. This is supposed to be for me. Yes, I've suffered in this pain. Yes, I've suffered in this grief. But as God as my judge, the universe, whatever language you use, it is okay. You know, it is okay. And so we can monitor time and understand time by slipping into that, do I really want this? Do I really need this? Is this actually really for me? And then you can start to collapse time. Another quick example is a year and a half ago, when I did my teacher's qualification, I wanted to get a job at the college up the road. That's what I wanted. I wanted to earn £52,000 a year. I wrote it all down. I did everything everybody tells you to do on social media, The Secret, the internet, all of it, because it looks so easy, doesn't it? It just looks so easy. Just write it down. Just do this. Last Monday is when I got the call, and we are talking literally specifically 10 months on from when I put that out to the universe. 10 months later, I got the call to say that college down the road would like to bring you in to cover some teaching, and we will pay you X amount of money that actually is an equivalent to more than 50 grand a year.
Wow.
That was specifically 10 months on. If I'd spent that 10 months going, I want the job at that college, I want the job at that college, oh, my life's coming to an end, I don't get anything, which is what I used to do, didn't I? Oh, nothing works for me, my life's so shit. It would never have come. It would have never come. You. I would have carried on working for a spa. I would have carried on having a tantrum with you and being like, none of this is working, nobody's watching, nobody's listening. Do you know what I mean? But no, because we learn. And so 10 months ago, I wasn't ready to take this job on because I didn't have enough leadership or experience, I believe, to be able to start on Monday and go, right, I'm here, this is what we're doing, do you know what I mean? And so I've built up that experience, and I needed the 10 months to build up that experience. And now we've come forth. And that now has shown me, I've got a massive prophecy yesterday, which is very exciting because my Viking program has really brought me back to my roots. I've got to be honest. And so that's how we can collapse time and space and energy. Quantum leaping, completely different subjects we can go on about. But for today, bringing in Angela with the Pathless Path and my inner guru, these are the sort of things that we talk about. And I know Angela's got some period pains at the moment, and
I'm sorry.
It sounds like I'm going on, but she's hanging out her ass at the minute. But this is what we talk about. We talk about these deep, deep, meaningful things where people are missing the pieces we found when you're trying to find peace. You're trying to find how to deal with grief. You're trying to find what it is I'm supposed to be doing when nothing's working out for you, when you're struggling to understand what weight loss is and why am I in so much pain all the time. Ultimately, it honestly comes down to these things we teach in the course: time, space, understanding grief. And of course, we're not psychologists or specialists. It just comes from our experience. And we were called to share all that with you. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to be speaking about over the next couple of weeks. The links to gain access to this information, and if you feel called to, we're not hard selling, we're done with that. If you feel called to, then the links are all at the bottom of the show notes here. These videos on YouTube are also available on Spotify on our podcast. It's a bit rough around the edges at the moment, so bear with us as we start to do some editing and work it all out. Again, there's questions and polls at the end of all our videos, and Spotify listeners, we just want to get some feedback from you in what you're struggling with. Can we help you? We want to build a collective. We want to build a community. So it's really important, positive, love, light. We're not willing to open conversations about the aliens, lizards, or zombie apocalypse invading the world. That's another subject for another day. But yeah, we're talking about building relationships and coming together as a sisterhood in order for us to share our experiences. And no, like I say, we're not medically trained and we're not counselors, but we have found the power of collaborating, being together and being able to share and heal and listen. So hopefully over time, these will be sessions that we can actually answer many questions from viewers and listeners. We're here every Tuesday, every Saturday, come how rain or shine. I have already put up judgment. That's our card of today. So, Angela, what you got?
Temperance.
Talk to us a bit about that card, Angela. We've got a couple of minutes.
Oh, temperance. Yeah, finding balance, I'd say. That's the first thing that I would say intuitively. Also stands for Libra. That's my ascendant. Yeah, I'm not really online today. But it's okay. We got the Ten of Swords.
Yeah, that's what you're feeling, girl.
Yeah, and this is how you see a pioneer, by how many swords he has in his back.
Well, all I've got is the judgment cards, and like you, I ain't going into it. So take that as you like. Maybe a bit more in the light. I know what that means, but I ain't even going there. Well, everybody, we hope you have a lovely weekend. We're back on Tuesday, and you can reach out to us via the email address, and all the show notes, all the links are in there. I think we're done. We'll probably carry on this conversation as we go and make some more coffee and have a fag. We love you loads. Good luck. Love and light. Enjoy all your week. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.